Hello there, my friends. I was having a conversation this morning with my oldest about his college experience, and it made me think a lot about mine, which started back in the early 90s, well before I knew that I had ADHD and dyslexia. And I think about all the problems I had that are so similar to the ones he's having now. Case in point, good old-fashioned textbooks. You're looking at text, a lot of it crammed together. Sometimes there's images. It's hard to absorb the text, comprehend it, understand what the author's trying to tell you, trying to even get it in enough to remember it and understand it. And not knowing that I had these challenges, but knowing that I needed to absorb this information somehow. So one of the things I did was I tapped into my auditory tendencies. I would ask a lot of questions very strategically of my classmates. I would ask things like, so what did you think of the assignment we had last night? Or what did you take away from that article we were supposed to read? And my colleagues, eager to share how smart they are and their insight, were happy to tell me their interpretation of this very intellectual material. So they would give me the bullet points, the highlights, all the stuff that I really needed to absorb. And then the class discussion would really open things up for me so that I could fill in the gaps from whatever I didn't get from my students, my fellow students. So my own resourcefulness is what really helped get me through, because when I tried to read things, and when you're getting a master's in social work, you better plan on at least 100 pages a week, and if you have several classes, a lot more. The reading that you are expected to do is insane, but people did it. You sacrifice your life, but if you can be a little bit more resourceful, you can kind of collaborate with your classmates. Another thing we ended up doing was, if the reading was too big, we would each agree to take a section, and then we would meet before class the next day in kind of a round table conversation and inform each other about what we read. So it was a lot easier to put things together that way. So one thing that I did in college, which I understand from all the kids with Asperger's and ADHD I've worked with over the years, that this idea of asking for help is like wearing a big red sign that says loser. And I don't know where the hell this idea comes from, because it's one of the dumbest I've ever heard. This idea that, well, I've got to do it myself, otherwise I'm a failure. Please. That's incredibly arrogant. And I understand that sometimes there is difficulty with self-advocacy. There are some legitimate skill gaps that need to be addressed so that the student knows how to organize their thoughts, knows how to approach the person in the most effective social way. So I'm not minimizing the fact there may be some legitimate skill gaps there. But it's the belief that, well, I can't consider any success valid if I don't do it myself. That is utter bullshit. And I'm saying that to anybody that believes that. And anybody that wants to offer proof to me that you have done something independently, bring it on, because you're wrong. Now, even if you're not talking to people, you're walking on shoes somebody else made. You're walking on tiled floor, sitting in a building, in a classroom somebody else built so you could be there. So don't tell me for 1 second you did anything without help. There's plenty of it out there. Your parents that pay all your bills so you can go to college, gee, sounds like help to me. They provide the food for you, the transportation. Maybe you're paying for some things. I'm making payments on a car. I didn't build it. I sure as heck didn't ship it to the auto dealer. We were making payments on it because somebody else's hard labor so they could feed their family is allowing us to get around to meet our needs as well. Help is abundant and help is required. Say that to yourself 1,000 times. It's required. So one of the difficulties that a lot of the kids I run into is their narrow idea of what help actually is. They can believe that they talk to the professor. Oh, professor won't help me. All right, I give up. or the idea that needing to drop a class is failure. Give me a break. Talk to anybody that's been in college. Dropping a class is very common. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how many classes I dropped. And it's not because I quit or I gave in or I failed. There are three main reasons. Let me see, three main reasons why I ended up dropping classes. And I'm sure there are many others. There always are. But the three main reasons were, one, the class wasn't what I thought it was. You know, I read the description, thought I was going to teach one thing, get there and hear the prof give his or her opening speech, and it turned out to be a completely different focus than I was interested in. So I dropped it. The second is the teaching method. You know, we all learn in a variety of ways. My son needs a lot of visuals to go along with his text. I needed a lot of discussion, you know, as opposed to just lecture. I needed to be able to talk about it. And if that teaching method wasn't present, I knew it was going to be hard for me to be successful in that class. Dropped it. Third reason, the professor is inaccessible to you. Whether you have learning challenges or not, you're going to have questions. And if the prof is very distant and always in a hurry to leave the class afterwards and says, email me, but doesn't respond, this is somebody that's, for whatever reason, not interested in helping you succeed. And drop the class. You know? Another reason is because you do not. This is reason 4, of course. Things always come to me as I'm talking. The fourth reason is lack of accessibility, meaning you don't have the tools you need to access the knowledge that's being taught to you. If you have dyslexia and you do not have text-to-speech technology, that is a barrier. If you need more visuals and the prof doesn't teach them, Google images, okay? I shared this with my son this morning. If there's a concept I'm unfamiliar with, I will Google it. And somewhere out there, some very organized person was generous enough to create some kind of a mind map or diagram or picture or something and put it online. I can't tell you how many of those things I've saved on my hard drive that I can go back to when I need that visual point to reference. But you have to get out there and ask for it. People are not going to just magically be downloaded from the universe, every single thing that you need, simply because you plopped your butt in their class. It doesn't work like that. You've got to ask for what it is you need. You've got to get past your ego, that bullshit belief that says, I need to do it by myself or I'm a failure. I will make you a promise right now. You are not so special that the universe has declared you to be the one person to make it through life without help. Ain't gonna happen. You have got to kick that belief to the curb and get prepared to step up and ask for the tools, the resources, and the time you need to succeed, or college will eat you up and spit you out. Simple reality. Another reality is you can do this, but you've got to get past those mental barriers, period. One of the main things that holds people with special needs up in college is their own internal dialogue about who they need to be and how it's supposed to work. In some respects, you're kind of reinventing things because you're showing up with your unique skill set. But you're not reinventing the essential aspect of the human condition that says we need to rely upon one another to be successful. We need to be interdependent. We need to look to one another. That's how it works. And if you're not ready to do that, wait. Find something else to do until you can build that skill set that allows you to embrace self-advocacy, that willingness to reach out and let the community support you in being successful. That's what college is for. So that's my 4 or 5 cents on this issue. I hope it's helpful for you. I haven't seen any questions pop up. I'm using Smile Time as opposed to the Facebook Live app, and I hope that it's getting through. If there are some questions on the other end, I will go and look at them and answer them promptly as soon as I'm done talking. For those of you that have tuned in, I love you, I honor you, and I'm grateful for your time. If there's somebody that you feel could benefit from this, share immediately so they can experience it, and they'll thank you for it. This has been Brian, and we'll talk again soon.